Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, wondering if you're on the right path? Not just in your career, but in your life. We create detailed business plans, 5-year career goals, and intricate financial strategies. But how many of us have a real, concrete strategy for our own happiness, for our relationships, for becoming the person we truly want to be? What if the same powerful theories that predict which businesses will thrive and which will fail could be used to build a life of genuine meaning and joy? This is the profound question at the heart of How Will You Measure Your Life, written by the late great Harvard Business School professor Clayton Christensen. Christensen was a titan in the world of business strategy, best known for his groundbreaking theory of disruptive innovation. But his life took a turn when he was diagnosed with the same type of cancer that had claimed his father. Facing his own mortality, he began to see his life's work in a new light. He started teaching a final class to his graduating MBA students, not about business, but about life. He used the rigorous, data-driven models from his courses on management and innovation to tackle the 3 most important questions we all face. How can I find happiness in my career? How can I build lasting, happy relationships with my family and friends? And how can I live a life of integrity? This book is the culmination of those lessons. Let's start with the first question, finding happiness in your career. We're often told to chase the obvious rewards, a bigger salary, a more prestigious title, a corner office. But Christensen argues this is a trap. He draws on a theory from psychologist Frederick Hertzberg, who found that the things that make us dissatisfied at work are different from the things that make us truly happy. Things like salary, a nice office, and job security are what he called hygiene factors. If they're bad, they make you miserable. But if they're good, they don't actually make you happy. They just make you not unhappy. It's like air conditioning. You only notice it when it's broken. Getting it fixed doesn't fill you with joy, it just brings you back to a neutral state. True lasting motivation comes from what Hertzberg called motivators: challenging work, recognition for your contributions, taking on more responsibility, and opportunities for personal growth. These are the things that make you want to leap out of bed in the morning. Christensen saw this play out with his own Harvard classmates. At the reunions, many who had chased the conventional symbols of success, the high-powered, high-paying jobs, were surprisingly unhappy. Some were navigating messy divorces or had strained relationships with their children. A few, like the infamous Enron CEO, Jeffrey Skilling, who was a classmate of Christensen's, even ended up in jail. They had spent their lives chasing hygiene factors, believing they were climbing the ladder to happiness, only to find the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. The real key, Christensen argues, is to choose a profession where the daily work itself provides the motivating factors that truly fulfill you. But what happens when your carefully laid plans go awry? This brings us to the second crucial area, your life strategy, especially concerning your relationships. In business, companies have a deliberate strategy, the plan they set out to execute. But they also encounter unexpected problems and opportunities. The successful ones adapt by pursuing an emergent strategy. Your life works the same way. You might have a deliberate plan for your career or family, but you must remain open to the unexpected opportunities that emerge along the way. The most powerful tool for managing this is understanding where you allocate your resources. Your resources aren't just your money. They are your time, your energy, and your focus. You can say your family is the most important thing in your life, but if all your best energy, your sharpest thinking, and your most productive hours are spent at the office, then your real strategy, your emergent strategy, is your career. Christensen shares a deeply personal story about this. He was a dedicated husband and father, but he had a moment of realization. He thought he was spending time with his kids, but he was often just physically present, his mind still churning on work problems. He decided to change his resource allocation. He and his wife decided to consciously build a family culture with the same focus a CEO would build a company culture. One of their projects was building a playhouse for their children.
He could have just designed it himself and built it quickly. Instead, he made the process the goal. He let his kids help with the design, even when their ideas were complicated. They worked together for months, solving problems, learning skills, and creating something as a team. Years later, he says the most important outcome wasn't the playhouse itself. It was the shared experience. It was the culture of collaboration, problem solving, and mutual respect they built together. This is a critical insight. Investments in relationships, unlike careers, don't often provide instant gratification. You can't cram for a good relationship with your spouse or your teenage child the night before the final exam. The investment of time and energy needs to happen long before you need the dividend. You build the strong foundation brick by brick, day by day, so that when the storms of life inevitably hit, that foundation is there to hold you up. This principle of investing early and consistently leads directly to the third and final question: how to live a life of integrity, or, as he bluntly puts it, how to stay out of jail. Christensen warns of a dangerous mental trap that he calls the marginal cost fallacy. In business, the marginal cost is the cost of producing one additional unit of something. Often that cost is very low, making it easy to justify. For example, a company might think, we have the resources, so why not just do this one little slightly unethical thing to close a big deal? The marginal cost of doing it just this once is practically zero. This is precisely how good people start making bad decisions. They compromise their values just this once. They tell a small lie. They cut a small corner. The marginal cost of that single action seems insignificant, but the true cost is devastating. Because when you cross that line once, you've redefined who you are. You're no longer a person who never lies. You're a person who sometimes lies. And that makes the next just this once decision even easier. Christensen powerfully illustrates this with a story from his time as a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford University. He was a star player on the university's basketball team, which had an undefeated season and made it to the national championship. The final game, however, was scheduled on a Sunday. As a man of deep religious conviction, Christensen had made a personal commitment to never play sports on the Sabbath. His coach and teammates were desperate. They pleaded with him, "Just this once, can't you make an exception?" The pressure was immense. The marginal cost of breaking his rule one time seemed so small compared to the cost of letting down his entire team. But he realized that if he crossed that line once, even once, he would have to ask himself for the rest of his life, what are the circumstances under which I will break my own rules? He chose not to play. He stuck to his principle. He said that making that decision was one of the most important of his life because it set a clear boundary. It's far easier, he concluded, to hold to your principles 100% of the time than it is 98% of the time. That final 2% is a slippery slope. So what's the final takeaway from all of this? The book's title is The Ultimate Lesson. At the end of your days, what will be the measure of your life? Will it be the promotions you earned or the money you made? Or will it be something else entirely? Christensen suggests the metric should be about the individual people you helped one by one become better people. It's measured in the strength and love within your family. It's measured by the friends who could count on you. It's measured in the quiet integrity of the choices you made when no one was watching. The most important work you will ever do will be within the walls of your own home and in the quiet chambers of your own heart. So the question isn't for Clayton Christensen to answer. It's for you. As you move forward from this moment, how will you measure your life?